This is a fun episode, and we got to do a little longer this time, which was great. Do you want to plug anything?
Check out our Instagram.
Yeah,
we got an Instagram. We're on social media. You can find us on Instagram. Our handle is called _podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You can follow us there. You can see what we post. We post up our weekly recommendations in case you forgot them, and then you can even tell us if you liked our weekly recommendations.
Yeah, comment or slide up in those DMs.
Oh yeah, slide up in there.
Or you can just see what we're going to talk about next week. We try to be good about that and post what we're going to be talking about before we upload the episodes, so you can get ready or maybe even watch what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We usually, this one we just talked about, it was like a TMNT retrospective, but we usually pick a film to kind of dissect and analyze. So please follow us on Instagram if you want to keep up with us on the social media front.
Oh yeah.
We also are doing we have an enamel pin shop, online shop, a pin apart.
Yes.
You can follow us at a pin apart. I think that's it.
On Instagram.
Or it's at _pin_apart. I think. But anyway, we're gonna be doing the first ever, not just in San Diego, I think ever, San Diego pin and patch convention.
Nice.
Yeah, and we're gonna be there. We're gonna have a booth.
Yeah,
and my boy James is gonna be there. Hopefully, we'll have some cool new designs for you guys.
New exclusive stuff.
Yeah, along with all our old merch for you guys to buy and hopefully sell out.
Yeah.
What else? We are still in talks for the Mad Max screening. Trying to figure out
what the heck's going on.
What's going to go on with that?
Yeah.
So nothing new today.
Nothing yet.
But hopefully very, very soon.
Yes.
Keep your fingers crossed for us. We're trying really hard, believe me. What else, man?
What else do we got? You can follow us on our...
Oh yeah, so please subscribe if you're listening to this on a third-party app or somewhere or on Spreaker. You can also find us all our episode archives on a plethora of platforms, whether it be iTunes, iHeartRadio,
Spreaker,
Stitcher Radio, YouTube. I believe we're on Sods, which is a new app.
It's a new app you can purchase.
Yeah, you can. I think it's $2.99 on the App Store, but apparently we're on there as well.
Nice.
So yeah, please check us out.
Yes.
And I think we're almost done.
Yeah, I think so.
So thank you for coming on, man.
This is fun.
Always
this was a good one. I like this one.
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for picking this.
Yes.
What a big milestone this is. 50 episodes.
It's crazy.
I was going to ask you what we should talk about next week, but it's mine.
Yeah, your pick, yeah.
Do you want to have you ever seen Last Action Hero?
I have.
With Schwarzenegger?
Yes. The movie.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, we can do that one.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, looks like we're going to do Last Action Hero.
Nice.
And we're going to get out of here.
All right.
Happy Friday, guys.
Yes.
Thank you, and enjoy your weekend.
Be safe.
Yeah, as always.
Yes.
And until next week, good night and good luck.
I grew up in a very small town in Maine. About 5 miles away, one way on my bicycle, was this little convenience store that sold comic books. My favorite was Jack Kirby's Commandy. His stories were fairly simplistic in their style and pacing. The writing was very easy. It was very fast-paced, but his panels were so explosive and action-driven. This splash page to this dramatic 2-page spread. And I just said from that day on, I want to be that. I want to be Jack Kirby. I want to be the guy that writes and draws and tells all these stories. Peter and I shared a house in Dover, New Hampshire. His wife and him had rented it, and they had a spare room. So Peter and I had met, and we decided to form a little studio called Mirage Studios, which was a mirage. It was our living room. I always thought it was my job to annoy him while he was trying to watch his programs. So one night I did this sketch of a turtle standing upright. He had a mask on, nunchucks strapped to his arms, and I put it on his lapboard, and I said, this is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be a Ninja Turtle. So I did this pencil sketch of 4 of them, all with different weapons, in this dramatic pose with a Ninja Turtle logo. That night, he inked it in and added Teenage Mutant to the logo. We were just falling over laughing. We thought it was the funniest thing ever. We got up the next day, and as I love to say, we didn't have any distracting painting work going on. So we said, we should really come up with a story that tells how these characters got to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And that was around November 1983, and we started working on the first issue almost immediately. We were very lucky early on that when the first issue sold out and sold well, and a year later, by the time we were doing issue 4 and 5, we went from 3,000 copies with the first issue to 100,000 copies by issue 4 or 5. We were making a living drawing comics. To us, even before the movies and the cartoons and anything like that happened, the dream had come true for us that we were drawing comic books and we were able to pay our rent. We were kind of discovering who these characters really were, the Turtles, their personalities as each issue evolved, because it was an evolution. We were figuring out as we went along, and I probably heard it later in working on stories that somebody had said, the badder and the smarter the bad guy is, the greater it makes your hero look. The Shredder his costume has an interesting origin in that he came from Peter and I doing dishes one night. Peter would wash and I'd dry, and as we were working on the development of the first issue, trying to come up with a bad guy, I was drying, and there was this triangular metal cheese grating thing. I was drying the inside, and I sort of my hand up inside it with these little cheese grating things. I'm like, oh man, do you imagine a guy that had this on his arms as a weapon? He'd be like the Greater. He'd be like Great Man. And Peter was like, how about Shredder? He'd be like the Shredder. So we loved the name, and through a couple different versions of the costume, we came up with Shredder. When you look back, what Peter and I did initially was only 15 issues. There was the first 11 issues, a 4 one-issue microseries, and that was the foundation for the entire Turtle legend, I guess, for lack of a better term. That's the foundation that everything else was built upon. One of the coolest parts of having created something like the Turtles, when I go to shows or do signings, whether it be, massive shows like, San Diego Comic-Con, or doing small signings for a neighborhood comic book store, the fans are what is the most awesome part, and they all have a story to tell, a personal experience. They were touched by either the characters, something that you drew, or something that you published. When I first was, first going to shows, I remember meeting Jack Kirby for the first time. I thought I was going to pass out. I always said that, man, if I ever have fans, that's what I want to be. I want to enjoy that experience with them. It's contagious, it's invigorating, it's inspiring, and it really makes me want to work harder and do a better job. And it's just great to meet these awesome people, because they're very sincere, And when you look back to where we started and what we did with the first issue in 1984 and reach this sort of iconic status that is pretty cool. And it's great to be a steward of something that awesome.
Yeah, totally. That was what it is. That's it.
Yeah, right. Round time. Yeah.
Come on, dudes. Let's cowabunga!
Yo, give it up, dudes. Our very own MC Angelo.
Can't touch this.
Man, you got to think the groove is sound. Listen to the tracks we're laying down. The turtles are coming up from the ground. We got a message that we have found. Gonna keep rapping, gonna keep talking. Ready to go. Let's get on with the show now. Hey, y'all, Leonardo's his name. He is the leader that you claim to fame. Now, he is the man my brothers trust. When Shredder Man, we go for the bus. He's a turtle standing tall and proud. But he loves as Donatello. Even for a turtle, he's mellow. It's simple what makes him grin. Just give him anything, give him anything, give him anything that you plug in. If it's got to do with a chip or a bit, energy that just won't quit. Now, when we started, we had no choice. We needed something to help our voice, and we went to work to develop a plan. And now we're making music for all our fans. Booked to die for the whistles and bells, helping each of us to come out of our shell. Michelangelo, let me kick my story, just say so. Born like a pet, just like the rest of them. I grew up wild, party with the best of them. Living loose, living large. With my humor now, I'm in charge. It's not that I'm crass, not that I'm rude. It's just that I'm a naturally humorous dude. Turn up the volume, baby, let's pump it. I see the Foot Clan, man, you know I thump it. Cowabunga is my favorite word. I use it all the time, or haven't you heard? I'm out of control, wild and crazy, hazy, baby, a little bit lazy. In the world that he'd rather be than a turtle who is mutant as well. I said it before, he's coming out of his shell. I saved this guy for the end of the song. I'm sorry, excuse me if it gets too long. The man is my very best friend. I stick with my buddy to the very end. He wrote the music, I wrote the words. We wrote everything that you've heard. Splint to this